Hi Pisces. This is your reading for January 13th to January 19th. So, the image that I first got when I was asking about the collective, and I always work with the idea that I'm reading for the greatest number of people who are going to tune in and get benefit from this. So obviously it won't resonate with everybody. But the image that I first got after that request was a picture of you as a fish, go figure, in the ocean. But you were part of a group of fish, a school of fish. And you were swimming along, you were all swimming along really nicely, and then this big shark shows up. It's not eating anything, and you're very curious about it. So you head off and you're checking it out, and you kind of get caught up in the gravity and the momentum of this shark's wave. And so you separate from the school of fish, and eventually you come back and you slide back into your little slot, and then another shark comes along, or another fish comes along, not always a shark, and then you take off and you do that. And you do this enough times, and you do it for long enough at certain periods that at one point you go back and the shape of the school of fish has changed, and there's no place for you to insert yourself. It's like your spot's gone. And there's a part of you that feels really deserted by that, like, hey, wait a minute, what happened? Where's my spot? But you don't seem to realize that they missed you, and that they have filled in the spot because they didn't like feeling the absence of you there. So Pisces, this is what I'm getting as I'm pulling your cards, is that for who I'm reading for, some of you don't realize how deeply you impact the people around you and how important your presence is. You add a certain quality of energy and a certain dynamism. Definitely there's a really creative energy there for you. And along with that goes a curiosity and a questioning. And that is something that's very, very alluring. And often for people who aren't quick to question and quick to explore, it's very attractive to be around it and to have it. It can be irritating too for those who are feeling like they're less than or, forced into it. But for the most part, it's very, very alluring. So what has happened sometimes with you is that you end up leaving to explore something that's interesting and exciting for you, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's a new idea, a new place, without really considering the fact that your absence is going to really impact the people around you. And so what that can do is that can create a certain amount of resentment on your part if when you come back, the desire to have you back is not quite so strong, or that there is recrimination. There are recriminations because you've been gone. And so what you're being asked to really look at here is to take stock of who you are, to take stock of what your place has been with different groups of people, and how some of the responses you've gotten back from people that you found uncomfortable may have been created by virtue of the fact that you actually started the situation by this quite innocent exploration of other things that left people feeling adrift without you, or lost, or I don't even want to say abandoned because that's quite strong, but abandoned, it can be the kind of thing where you leave a friendship because, for example, you've got a new boyfriend and you're gone. And then the relationship breaks up and you're back all of a sudden. You want your old friends back. Well, it may not have created huge, horrible pain for the friends that you kind of left aside, but it might have created a sense of, well, you know what, I guess I wasn't that important, so do I really want to invest more time in this person? Whereas all the time you might have still felt very connected to the people you left behind. But if they don't know that, if you haven't maintained an energetic connection with these people, how are they to know that? So you could just end up feeling rejected and let down and like, well, what happened? Well, that might be what happened. So this is not about blaming yourself. This is about understanding the fact that you have a place in the world. You have a place with the people around you, and you have the ability to manage it and maneuver it. But what it's really asking you to check in with yourself is, how do you value you? Because a lot of this stems from you not recognizing what your value is to people. That's the crazy thing, is it's not that you don't have value that they're kind of backing away. It's the fact that you do. You did, and they missed it. Now, doesn't mean to say they're going to be kind about it, but we hope they will. But it really is about you taking the chance to look at yourself honestly. Look at the good qualities you've got. Look at the things that you offer. And do it as neutrally as possible, without judging. Like a friend of mine says, generate, don't evaluate. Just let yourself acknowledge these things and bring them up and understand that these are qualities now that may not have been in somebody else's life when you left. So you might have been the one that listened. You might have been the one that was, inviting people over and having drinks or cooking or running errands, not necessarily taking care of people, but being engaged in their life. Okay? So the thing also with Pisces is because there is a real draw. There are two really, really strong impulses. One is to be curious and to look, but the other is to feel secure and attached. So that's, the coming back to the school of fish. But at the same time, sometimes going and checking out the big fish, the colorful fish, it's because the magnetic draw creates a certain quality of connection that maybe you don't when you're just with a bunch of little fish. Do you know what I mean? I think you get it in terms of human relationship. So you can look at that, and you can look at where you're creating a sense of abandonment in other people, but also perhaps, just in terms of taking into consideration how you make decisions about who you're with and why. And I'm going to check on this one. I need to check on this one. Okay, tell me more about that card, please. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying abandonment. No, I don't want that one, but all right. Okay. There is some conflict. So now what I've got, the reason I said that is because I've got 3 cards that are trying versus doing, certainty and doubt, remorse and guilt. You're getting 3 cards with opposing concepts, which says to me there has been some kind of agitation, concern around the issue of abandonment. Is it their abandonment, or is it them abandoning others? Again, okay, what you're getting is, don't worry too much about that. Look at what's good about you. Let yourself look at what's good about you. So I'm feeling like there might be something here where you've been challenged, or where you've been perhaps judging yourself, criticizing yourself, questioning some of your choices in relationships and people. But one of the things they're asking you to do as you're looking at this is check out for cognitive distortions. They want you to be compassionate to yourself. They want you to, if you're investigating this, set up a structure for yourself so you can look at it in a way where you don't go off into rabbit holes. And looking for cognitive distortions. Watch your vocabulary. You're on the lookout for cognitive distortions. These are statements that are not fully accurate. Each time you notice one, correct it on the spot. Change it for a factually true statement. Example, distortion, I have nothing to wear. Example, correction, I feel like I have nothing to wear. Or even, I don't want to wear anything I own right now. Okay? Or I don't want to earn most of anything. So what they're asking you to do is say what you feel, look at it, look for where you're distorting your perception of how you're analyzing situations here. So it's not like, I've never been a good partner. Well, no, maybe you were not a good partner for the last 2 years because you were in a crap relationship, but maybe for the first 3 years you were a fantastic partner. Okay? Oh, yes, well, maybe I'm insensitive. Well, maybe maybe sometimes you are, and guess what? You're human, but are you always insensitive? I don't think so. I remember that time, blah, 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 blah. So to encapsulate this, what I feel is for the people that I'm reading this for, you're being asked to reflect on where you may have created situations or been experiencing situations where abandonment was an issue, that you're being asked to look at yourself and your own place in it and how it's actually a reflection of your value to people and not your lack of value to people. That is super important, and that is key to this. You're being really asked to look at your value to people and to let those qualities that are good, that you like about yourself, that you know, be there and be in the forefront. Check out for any cognitive distortions that tend to neutralize that. You can also check out the cognitive distortions in like, well, I've always been a great friend. Well, maybe not. Maybe you can look at the times you haven't. It's all about being honest, but being so with compassion, with kindness for you, and perhaps for those people who might be calling you to task on things. But again, within the understanding, this is about growth. This is about you learning to expand your consciousness by facing whatever it is you need to face that is coming from the past that might be haunting you. And please, notice if you find yourself being afraid to do that, and then lean into the idea of prayerful. This can mean actively praying or invoking the support of a divine presence. Alternatively, it can mean letting your mind and actions reflect an attitude of acceptance of, or at least the possibility of, a higher power which is there to guide you. It could be maintaining an awareness of something sacred or mystical and acting with the acceptance that it is present even in the most seemingly mundane activities. This really is about you taking your understanding of yourself, your role in life, your relationships to a higher level, to broaden your consciousness, deepen your consciousness, and to get out of conflict around who you were and what you were, to make peace with it. And make peace in a way where you can be loving towards yourself and where you can really own your good qualities, because you've got a ton of them. You really do. Okay? So, faith, creating new boundaries for yourself, with people, but really within your own self, and how you talk to yourself and how you see yourself. Okay? When you go into fear or into criticism, check for cognitive distortions, dial it back, and let yourself really move into that sense of life as a sacred experience and you as part of that, even with all the stuff going on that maybe doesn't always look so great. Okay? That's it for you, Pisces. Take care, my loves. If you care to like, share, and subscribe, I will always be appreciative. Comments too, I will read them. And I think I will be back next week. Take care.